Friction is sometimes useful. Number 1. Friction is useful for many of our daily activities. Number 2. Friction between the feet and ground helps us to walk on the ground. Number 3. It is possible to write with a pen or pencil on a paper due to friction between the pen or pencil and the paper. Number 4. It is possible to write on a blackboard due to the friction between the chalk and blackboard.
Fine. Now, how friction is useful to us? We already saw the disadvantage of friction. We already seen rather that the wear and tear, heat is produced, sometimes sparks are produced due to friction, and we get forest fire. This is disadvantage. Now we are going to see what are the usefulness of friction, the same phenomena. What are the advantages of friction? The first one, that in our daily activities we see the usage of friction. Let's see, the first one is how can you walk? How can you walk on the ground? Because there's a friction between your feet and the ground, or the sandal, or the ground, or the shoe and the ground. Do you understand? If
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
no friction, we will fall. Got my point? We will not be able to walk. Because of friction, we are able to walk. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Next one is due to friction, we are able to write with what? Either with a pen or a pencil on what? On a paper. Again, which phenomena is applicable over here, beta?
Friction.
It's a friction. You understood? So, where is the friction observed? Between your pen or a pencil and the paper. So, there's a friction between because you're rubbing it. You're moving your pen, you're moving your pencil on the paper. There's a contact. That is friction. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Same way, when you write on the blackboard, there's a friction between the pen or the chalk on the chalkboard or the pen on the whiteboard. You understand? So, due to friction, we are able to write. Can you imagine? Otherwise, we won't be able to write. If there's no friction, we will not be able to write.
Right.
You understood? All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Some more usage of friction. Let's continue, better. Wants to read can read. So every one of you will get a chance to read different slides. Okay, beta? So if Moinuddin wants to continue, you can continue. If anyone wants to join or wants to read, you're welcome, beta. I wish all of you take part in reading the
Ma'am, can I
slides.
read? Muhammad
Sure, beta.
Abbas.
Okay, beta, you can.
Friction between the tires and the road helps automobiles to move on roads. Friction between the bricks helps in the construction of buildings.
You understood these again uses of friction? Now
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
take the automobiles. Now automobiles are what are automobiles called as beta? Your cars, trucks, all these are called as
Bicycles.
automobiles. Yes, any machine is called as automobiles. Now how are they moving on road? Because there is friction between the tires and the road, so they can move on the road. You understood? If there's no friction, it wouldn't be possible for them to move on the road. Next is when you make a building. When you make a building, so how the building is made better? With the help of bricks. You know that, right? So what we are doing, we are putting
Yes,
bricks on top of another. In between, we are cementing it, isn't it? So there has to be friction between the bricks. Yes, which helps in making of a building.
yes,
Some more to it. Whatever we have learned so far, there's more to it. That means more of explanation is given. It's sort of a revision, but you will learn more. Yes, begin better.
Number one, friction enables us to walk without slipping.
Slipping,
It is
not sleeping better. It's slipping.
slipping. It is because of the friction between the sole of the shoe and ground prevents us from slipping. While walking, we push the ground backwards and the force of friction acts in the opposite direction, that is, in the forward direction, and prevents us from slipping by making the balance.
Good. So what is friction doing? It is not making us slip. It is allowing us to walk and not to slip. That is what friction is doing to us. You agree?
Yes, ma'am.
How it is doing? Let's see. The first one is there's a friction if you are wearing a shoe. For example, if we are wearing a shoe. So where is the friction beta? The sole of the shoe. That is, this is your shoe, right? The
Yes,
sole of the
ma'am.
shoe. So you can see the grooves over here. This is how it
Yes.
is beta. Yes or no? This is how it is.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
there's a friction between the
Yes, ma'am.
sole of the shoe and the ground and the ground. And that
Yes.
friction is allowing you to walk and not to slip. Got it?
Okay, ma'am.
When you're walking, show you with this. See, this is the road and it's you. This one is you. You're walking on the road, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're pushing the road. What are you doing, beta? Because you're stepping on the road, so you're pushing the road.
Yes, ma'am.
You agree? By
Yes.
pushing the road, your foot is going ahead. See? Your foot is going ahead. And the road is going behind. Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
You agree how we are walking?
Yes, ma'am.
We are going ahead and the road is going back. What do you say? The road is not going back actually, but we are making it push back. What do you say? That's the reason that we are going ahead. You got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
You are stepping forward. So you're going onto this direction. That is the motion of your body or of your foot. So your foot is going to this direction, right? There is an opposing force where at the bottom of the sole. There's an opposing force which is also applied on your feet. What is that force? What is that force, beta? And Margaret, please read it out. What is that force called as?
Friction.
Friction. Whenever there is a motion, whenever, when you're walking, you're running, you're jogging, or any machine moving, ball is moving, your bicycle is moving, you're pedaling your bicycle, anything you do, there is always an opposing force, which is called as friction. Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So opposing force does what, beta? If I am in motion or if you are in motion, it will stop. So what is the function of friction, beta? It stops the body. Do you understand? That's why I called it is the opposite force. Got my point or not? So friction tries to stop
Yes.
the body from being in
Yes.
motion. All of you understood nicely? It's very important, beta.
Yes, ma'am.
This will help you in ninth standard. That's what I'm saying. Please understand. Everything is related. If you understand eighth standard nicely, ninth standard will be very good. Excellent, brother. So if you're not able to understand certain links, certain parameters, certain factors, certain faculties of science, please stop me right then. Understand it nicely and then we go to another slide. I've been telling you since beginning. You understand? If
Yes, ma'am.
it could be silliest of doubt, don't worry. But clear your doubt. Okay? Because I'm making you think. This is all thought process. More you think, things become very easy. So this much you have understood better. So where you are going? You are going this direction. So this is motion.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is the opposite what is the opposite motion? At that very moment, it is this one. That is friction. That's it, over. So whenever any body is in motion, there has to be an opposite force which is called as friction. Is it understandable?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So see, all of them are walking. Can you see this? They're going for morning walk. This is friction. You are in motion, but there's a friction here. You getting my point? Under the foot, there's friction with the ground. So if I ask you, where is the friction? I cannot see it. You will show the sole of your shoe, which is worn out, which has become flat because of the friction. The new shoe and the old shoe, you can imagine. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever observed what happens to the sole of the old shoe? Sometimes you get a hole also. In the shoe, you get the hole also, isn't it? Hello, boys, do you
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes, sometimes you get holes. Why?
Yes, ma'am.
Because of friction. Because it get worn out. Because it's been used so many times that it became worn out. And you create a hole in the sole. Okay? Again, repetition. But this is a revision process. Please read.
Friction helps us to walk. Walking on slippery ground is difficult because of friction on slippery ground is less, due to which we may slip.
What does that mean, beta? Can you explain?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, for example, there is a small place there where there is slippery. In there, friction will be less because it is a slippery area.
For example, I can give an example of soapy water.
Yes, ma'am.
So, your mama is carrying a bucket of water which is having detergent or the soap water for cleaning purpose, right? And it got spilled. There are so many accidents happening in the household. You must have observed, you must have heard that someone fell down and broke the bones. You must have heard old
Yes,
ladies,
ma'am.
they slipped in the house, and what happens is on the tiles we cannot see, even water makes it slippery. Water. If water is spilled on the tile floor, tiles floors are very smooth because they are rubbed. It's shiny, it's glossy. So they are very smooth. The new tiles I'm talking about. And you cannot see if water is spilled on the tiles. Can you see the water better? If it's spilled on tiles? And if you are wearing a bathroom slipper, I again repeat, if you are wearing a bathroom slipper and the slipper is from the sole side, it is flat, you will slip nicely. Sometimes we break bones. That's the reason they say that be careful not to spill water on the tile floor because it's not observable. and accidents will happen. So barefoot is better than you wearing a bathroom slipper, because generally we don't allow even children to wear bathroom slipper in the washroom, because washroom are usually wet. You understand why we say no, not to wear bathroom slippers in the washroom? Because there's lots of chances that if you wear bathroom slippers, you may slip in the washroom. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand now? That is why we don't allow. So accidents generally happen in the washroom. Okay? There are many cases of old people slipping in the washroom. Okay. So what is happening is, now if I'm just talking only water, but if the water is with detergent, then it becomes more slippery. What do you say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you agree? Fine. So we may slip. See what is happening. Can you see this? People are slipping. Now this is what? This is ice. You see this? This is ice floor, better.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is smooth floor. And here you can see a small baby bear is slipping on the ice. So ice is what? Friction is almost minimum because it is a smooth surface. You can skate, yes, but you cannot walk. It's so difficult. You can skate, it's so easy to skate because friction is less, but it's very difficult to walk. You understand?
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am.
Okay. You can see people slipping like this. Yes. Now we'll do the second point. Please continue. And if you can explain, well and good, better. Read better.
Friction enables a car to move on road without skidding.
Now what
It
is
is
skidding? Skidding, see, when we talk about automobiles, your vehicles, we don't say slip, we will say skid. Now, this
skidding.
is how you have to understand. Yes, we slip. Human, animals, we slip. But cars, your bicycle, your moped, your scooty, they skid. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
This is English. I'm teaching you English now.
Yes, ma'am.
Then say.
It is because of the friction between the tires of car and the road which enables car to move forward without skidding. If there were no friction, car would stay where it was.
Understood? Can you explain? There's nothing much to explain actually. Can you give it a try? Why does an automobile moves? It's as simple as that. How does it move? Because there's a friction between the tires and the road.
And the vehicle.
Yes. So it is moving forward. See, the wheel is moving forward. And it does not skid because the wheel is turning. See, now there's a friction over here. Now the wheel is moving. So later the friction will be here when it will come in contact with the ground. After some time, the friction will be with this part, then this part. The whole wheel is moving. So whichever comes in contact with the ground will have the friction. So it allows the car to move forward and it does not skid. Simple. Got it? So what is happening? Wheel is turning, this is moving ahead, and there's a friction at the opposite direction. Got it?
Yes.
You can see over here. This is the car. You see this? The small toy car.
Yes.
Car is moving ahead due to engine, that is the power, the force, there's a friction going back. You understood? This is how
Yes.
you have to remember. Now, see, due to force, the wheel is moving. So, there's a push, that is the force. So, wheel starts rolling. It's going ahead here. The, the car is moving ahead. And where is the friction going? Back. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
This is how it works. This is how it works in the car. And I showed you earlier in the earlier slide, that's how we walk. We go ahead, there's a friction going back, isn't it? Yes, so where's the friction? Friction with the shoe and the ground. What about automobile? There's a friction between the tire and the ground. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So there are types of cars that I've shown you. I think you would love it. These are the types of cars which work due to friction. So if there were no friction, the car will skid. Yes, read better. You
Number
can
two.
read one, you can read point and then you can explain the point, or you can complete the whole, what you call it as slide and can explain. It's totally your choice.
Okay, ma'am. Number two. Friction enables a car to move on a road without skidding. It becomes sometimes difficult to drive and control car on wet road. This is because of water present on road reduces friction.
Okay. Just now I had talked about water on the floor, isn't it? What
Yes,
happens?
ma'am.
We slip. We slip, isn't it? Same way. During rainy season, what do we say? Please drive carefully. Don't we say that?
Yes.
Because there are chances of accidents. There are chances of skidding because the friction becomes minimum. You understand?
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
of presence of water on the road. So due to friction, there is a friction. That's why the car is able to move on the road without skidding. During rainy season or monsoon, it becomes very difficult to have a control on the car. There's a possibility that it can skid. And if it's not raining, if there are some, like drainage, the gutters become open and it comes on the road, so the road becomes wet. During those times, it becomes quite difficult to drive and have a control over car on this wet portion of the road. Because what happens? The water is reducing the friction, and hence there are lots of chances that your car may skid. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't have a control over a car, if your car is at a high speed, it can go out of control and you can meet with an accident. You understand what I'm saying? See, this is
Yes,
what
ma'am.
happens. Can you see this? Can you see this? There's a portion of water over here. See how the car is. See, look at the condition. Where is it going? It is going down the lane. It's gone out of the road. Can you see this? Here
Yes,
also,
ma'am.
see, car is not able to control. And see, it has upturned. It is overturned rather. The car has become topsy-turvy. And you know what happens at that time. So this is the thing which happens whenever there is a water on road. You understand? Understand, Vita?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Vita. Now the third one. Yes,
Number three. Friction enables us to write and draw on paper. It is because of the friction between the tip of the pencil or pen and paper. Carbon particles from the pencil lead rubs off from it due
It's
to the
not lead,
friction.
beta. Hello, it is lead.
Lead rubs off
So
from
it's so
it
pronounced. Hmm.
due to the friction which appears as black marks on the paper.
Can you explain? So we have already studied better. This is more of a explanation, more of a detailing that they are doing it. So what friction does? It allows us to write and draw on paper. How does it do it? Because there's a friction between the tip of the pencil, tip of the pencil. This is the tip of the pencil. So, hello, this is the tip of the pencil or pen and with the paper. So there's a friction between the pencil tip or the pen nib and the paper. And that's how we can write. You all agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. What is there in the pencil? The lead, which I'm talking about, the pencil lead has carbon particles. What it has, beta? The pencil lead, this, this pencil lead, this one. It has got this much portion inside the lead. It has got carbon particles. What it has, beta? Carbon particles. So when there's a friction between the pencil lead and the paper, the carbon particles they rub and they fall on it. Why? Due to friction. And that becomes a black mark on the paper by the pencil. So what you see the black marks is the carbon particles. What are they, beta? Hello? What are they? Carbon particles. The black mark that you see by the pencil is the carbon particles of the lead. Lead is a element. Lead is an element. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
This is how they're drawing and writing. So this is all done due to friction. Fourth, continue please. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Continue.
Ma'am, can I read?
Yes, yes, you can better.
Number 4. Friction enables us to pick up and hold things in our hand. Number 1. We can hold a glass tumbler in our hands because of friction between the tumbler and our hands. Number 2. Similarly, we can pick up the books lying on the desk by our hands.
Can you explain? If you can.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain if you can? It's all simple things and we have already read it out. So now with the examples you can elaborate. Give the detailing. Yes, better start. And don't worry. If you go wrong, then also don't worry, okay? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
We are not here to judge anyone, okay? So just enjoy. Just enjoy being a participant. That's it. Yes, better. Explain.
Ma'am, we can hold glass and tumbler because of friction.
Yes. If there were no friction, do you think we'll be able to hold anything?
We
No, it will slip.
no, ma'am.
The things will slip from our hand, isn't it?
Yes.
There is friction, then only we can hold. If there's no friction, it will slip from our hand. What do you say? So we won't be able to hold any
Yes.
objects. Good. So you can able to pick up books also. If you pick up, then only you can hold, isn't it? And picking
Yes,
up
ma'am.
will also not possible if there is no friction. So the movement of
Yes.
hands, see the holding, you're holding money, you're holding the glass is all due to friction. If there is no friction, then we cannot pick up or hold any object by our hand. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, read with it.
Number fifth, friction enables us to light a matchstick. Number eight, friction also produces heat. We, we rub matchstick against the rough side of a matchbox. Then friction between both of them produces heat, and this heat burns chemical present at the head of matchstick, and it lights up.
Okay. Can you explain? Can you explain better?
Yes, ma'am. When when we rub the matchstick on the rough side of matchbox, it get heated
How?
because of friction.
Exactly. To first friction will come and then heat will come. Isn't it better?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay. So it gets heated. And what happens? There is certain chemicals which is on the matchbox, isn't it? There's certain
yes,
chemicals, the red color chemicals painted on the sides of the matchbox. What do you say? So that heat which is produced, it burns those chemicals present on the sides of the matchbox. And what we get?
Yes,
What we get?
friction.
Friction. And so head of the matchstick starts burning because there's a chemical on the sides, there's a chemical on the matchstick also. And it starts burning due to friction. So far, any problem with her?
no, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So this is how it burns. You see this? This is how it burns. I'm just rubbing it. Okay? Any problem?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So what we learned, friction also produces heat, right? Now we are going to work on one by one. See, advantages of friction we have known. Three, 4 points we have come to know, isn't it, Vita? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we are going to work on disadvantages of friction. Why is it not helpful? Let's see. Read.
Number one, friction wears away the soles of our shoes. When we walk on the road, tiny surface of the shoe keep on breaking off slowly, due to which the soles of our shoes wear out slowly, due to which shoes get damaged and becomes unfit to wear.
Can you explain?
No, ma'am.
You cannot explain, Vita? Can anyone explain? Can anyone explain this slide?
No, ma'am.
No one? Okay. Friction wears away. Wears away means it is becoming old. Due to friction, an object becomes old. This much have you understood? The same way, a
Yes,
new shoe becomes worn out due to friction after 1 year. The sole of shoes get worn out after 1 year. Just listen to me. Okay. Now you are walking on the road, right? You are walking on the road. So your shoe sole has these grooves. Have you ever observed? Just see the under, the soles of the shoes. Have you ever observed?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This is new shoe. After 1 year, you will see all these grooves are gone. It's become flat. You will not see any grooves, but it will become flat. Have you observed that? Because it is worn out. It has been rubbed off by the pressure of your body onto the shoe, and there's a friction with the road or the floor or the surface. So the bottom of your shoe becomes flat. Have you ever observed? And sometimes you get hole also in the sole of your shoe because of the friction. So shoes get damaged and then you cannot wear it anymore because you get holes, it becomes flat, it doesn't look good, the leather becomes faded. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? And it becomes like this. You see this over here? See the
Yes.
left shoe. I'm just showing you one by one. See this left one and see this right one. What I taught you just now. See, it's got these grooves. Can you see these grooves?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is flat. There's nothing, no grooves.
Yes, ma'am.
You understood this much? This is worn out. This is a new one and this is an old one, you can see. It is worn out. Okay.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
here, you can see over here. See holes due to friction. Holes due to friction. Observed? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Same thing. See, look at the condition of shoe. Now you see over here, the stark differentiation. This much portion has got the grooves and this much portion has become flat. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Understood all of you? What is happening due to friction? Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
In this case also, see over here. Here, this much portion is okay. And now this has become flat. Can you see this? It's all due to friction. Any problem?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, lecture is over.
Okay. No, it's not over, beta. It's 28, 2 minutes remaining. Now, this is a new shoe. This is before, new shoe. And this is after. See, you got a hole here. Got my point, what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You want to read? In 2 minutes, we can finish this slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, start.
Friction is sometimes undesirable. Slows
Undesirable.
of
Read it again. Undesirable.
undesirable.
Good.
Soles of shoes wear out due to friction. Tires of bicycle and automobiles wear out due to friction. Step of staircase and foot over bridges in railway station wear out due to friction. Knives and razors lose their sharp edges due to
So you can see the disadvantage, why it is not helpful. First of all, we just saw the soles of shoes, you get those holes. It's wear out, it becomes old due to friction. Your bicycle and the automobiles, we give it for servicing, isn't it? Because sometimes you have to change your tire tubes because you get puncture in the tires, right? This is due to friction. Steps of staircases. Sometimes it is wooden staircases. You can see the staircases will become like this. If it's flat, sometimes due to friction, the wooden staircase become like this. Have you ever observed in the old houses? Hello, boys, can you hear me? Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
can you hear me? Okay. This is what happens in the railway stations, the staircases, it becomes a curve. Even knives, sometimes you're using knives because of so much of usage, it loses the sharpness. And then we have to go to a shop to get it sharpened, isn't it? It's due to friction
Yes.
that the razors and knives they lose their sharpness due to friction. So far, any problem, beta?
No, ma'am.
Hope the
No,
things are
ma'am.
very clear to you regarding this chapter. And please keep on
No, ma'am.
revising. I may be
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
sending the textual questions of this chapter as lesson 12. So start working on it. I'm not giving you any homework every day. I take it for granted that you are revising every day on the daily basis. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, beta. Have a good day. Have a good
Good
weekend.
day, ma'am.
Enjoy with the family. Bye, beta.
Okay,
Take
ma'am.
care.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, beta.
Okay, ma'am.
હવે કયો લેક્ચર છે?
एक्टिविटी
मेरे
लेक्चर से
खबर
एक्टिविटी लेक्चर से सैटरडे से आज छेल्लो लेक्चर
कयो
રેકોર્ડિંગ ચાલુ છે શાંતિ રાખો which lecture is there
एक्टिविटी लेक्चर